with the demo, Oracle NoSQL database, especially work with running the example with JSON format. Why? I mean, during the recent year, JSON is very widely used. Whatever the case, the mobile application or the integration or development web. So JSON is actually unstructured data. Data structures should be suitable for any kind of data to organize your data source. So that's a good things. Now today we are going to especially take some example with the NoSQL, so we can try to run it, expose some details, then help us. It should be make sense for you all. Yeah. So in terms that, if you check this Oracle NoSQL database, there's in the document, there's one section that how you can work with the JSON format with the example. And in terms that those content, in order to running those things, I want to start from the start from first run this example. So in order to run first, of course, we downloaded. Of course, the prerequisite is you have to has already installed your how to say, already installed your NoSQL database. At last, you already installed, started, then already configured it. Then you can able to ready to connect with the NoSQL. And then also we also needed to, in order to demonstrate the example, you also need to download the example, whatever you prefer for. One is a zip, one is a for Linux, so you can download it. After then you can put it in the the same folder with the Kiwi root folder. So I put it here. Then I'm opening this folder. Then I'm going to demonstrate those data with the example. Then should be more meaningful. Now, first things that I'm of course I I have to run with the command, right? So this is already already running with the local host, but I'm using different port. It should be fine. By default is 500, but I cannot kill the 5000, so I can just turn it to another port, no problem. Then I'm going to connect with the with the port proxy. So that's a proxy. This is HTTP port. Now I'm ready to connect with them. So next things I'm going to run the SQL. Okay, hold on a second. Yeah, SQL. SQL is tools Java jar. It should be from the SQL. There is located in the lake, right? So you have to backward in the to folder, leave SQL jar, right? SQL jar, and then SQL jar store would be Kiwi store. What else need to? Kids need to maybe I'm trying to connect with tech okay. Host name, helper host, helper hosts, uh, 000 001 48488. I think it should be fine for me. Still something missing. Okay, helper hosts not. So I can add it to helper. Okay, now I think I can run it. Can able to run. Show tables, right? And now I have a customer and the JSON, but whatever. But still, I'm going to show you now. Hold on a second. What I'm doing is show table. I also can show users, right? So now currently I have a admin user and user, which is we used it before in order to creating the secure connection. At the time you used it. Okay, so now we are ready for running the example. Now, so first of all, I'm opening the SQL. So I'm using to typically run this, helper host 50 or whatever. Now I'm loading the file that try to run this SQL example. The file is I'm trying to show you. Which is just need to create the table. That's it. Just create the table. It's ID and the JSON and primary key is ID. Then they going to import this file. It's JSON person. That JSON. That's what's JSON person. JSON is that one. So basically, it's very only the same ID, but the person. Person is first name, last name, age, income, last login address, connection, expense. Sometimes they don't, book, expense, connection, state, zip code, phone. Okay, address. Okay, sometimes this is a phone, just only one. Sometimes phones for working and home. So there's two kind of phone. Expense, food, travel. There's a book, food. There is a no any kind of. There is nothing same, different. So that's should be fine. I mean, there's a phone is work, two kind of work and two kind of home telephone number. So even that one is a null. So yeah, nevertheless, there is a address, yeah, expense, state, and last one is just they didn't have any kind of my number, Ari. There is no any kind of address. There is no any kind of income as well. But this is still is fine to for this data type. I mean, so for this data type, I mean that one for this table. So what we can do is now I'm going to load this file. So it would be help us to create the things. Now I already okay. Let me do these things properly. Example, I am currently locating this file, so I just copy this one, copy the file name, then load file, which is the one of the things file. Then I give you a name of yeah. So I loaded 7. They loaded 7 row. Statement did not require execution because already done. Yeah. Now I'm trying to run now. Basically, I can run it different way. For example, and first of all, I'm just using the mode for JSON, right? Oh, mode for JSON. Okay. So select from, for example, what's it being called? JSON persons. So that's the way. But I also want to, that's not, maybe I can use tape, other form like column. Select from. Oh no, hold on. Mode to change to column. Changed column. Now I'm, if I run this way, that way is I think it's also a better way. I mean, that's one record. No, show me that this is proper way, which I can. This is also fine for me. Okay. So far so good. Now first I'm going to run these things. What is this is, I'm trying to show ID and the person's expenses more than $1,000. So how many record I have? So I just copy it, paste it piece here. So that's those things. More than 100 is clothes, food, travel, clothes, food, travel, food. So that one is no details, but actually is more than 100,000. So that's also fine, but yeah. Now I also want to using the where condition that if the address and zip code is existed. I mean, if you go back to check, sometimes zip code doesn't exist. Get this, where zip code existed. Which one zip code? This one zip code, first one, no, second one zip code existed, right? The first one as well. Third one, no. Fourth one, no. Fifth one, no. 7 also no. So it should be just show you only two things, two type, right? Let me show you. Plus, so that's the only zip code existed. So this one existed and the others doesn't exist. So they just ignore those other things because you just interested those value. Now sometimes I can use the select. This is a table, and then of course person is child table, and the address is child of the person, and then phone is another object with the address. So it's very interesting that I'm just only interested in the phone number. So if there is a the whose ID is for example, they just want to only one record, but this is just want to say this only one, only one. Yeah. Hold on a second. Now, well, so that's uh, phone. There is a number, of course. There is a ID is for. So area code, blah blah. But actually, it's a phone number. They want to say this phone number. Now you also can change. Well, ID. So that's just only one record, but there is a four different phone number. One is for two is work using for work phone. Two of them is for home phone, and then home phone is area code is different. It means they have a two home, not one. Work is at same place. You can assume that because this is the area codes same. Okay, maybe they have a two different department or office, whatever, we can guess it. And then also there is a phone number is null, so it is kind of reverse that they trying to retrieve, but it is interesting for them. So yeah, now hold on, any null. Yes, so here's a there's a null type. Also there's a existed null, so they also can been selected. That's also good. Here's JSON phone number, any null, then they show it. Okay. You sometimes you want to say that not the table format, you want to say this with JSON format. It should be looking differently, but if you think it still is not good for you, then there is another mode JSON T JSON pretty okay, then I'm going to let's say that what's look like now. It is, I mean, it's more it's more interesting data type for if you somebody who like to say the format that with the JSON, but it's more better than that one, right? But this one is a little bit sticky. I mean how to say real format. I mean you cannot see it between this hierarchy, but here you can able to easier to see this. Okay, now it's next examine data type with JS column. How's that? Let's start from this example. What they saying is select from JSON G where exists the person my number. So most of them doesn't exist it. So this and the ID is 7 and 6 should be they has a my number column. So it's very interesting sometimes in the same data table just only retrieve this different kind of data structure. Then also this is a my numbers, this is a string, this is a number. So how about if you just only and just number, then you also can do this way. Um, So now integers just only show us the ID 6 because that's integer, right? So whereas a JSON G person my number is of type integer, then this is that's the way. If it is a if you want just only string, then you will be say no, hold on, string. It's not a complete statement where person my number is of type string. So now this is 7 been founded. ID 7 is been founded. Yeah, so this is interesting, right? This is not integer, also is another format, so you can using the strings. Yes, that's we did it. Another things that now hold on a second, my array, they would say my array. Okay, they say there is another in the person, there is a my arrays column, and my array is not is a string, then they want to show us. So what this has is my array is, so ID 7 my array is string, but this oh, if there is a two kind of, some of them is null, some of them is number, some of them is string. So they just focus, they can parsing it this only this part. So this is MySQL. You can see that this is a very powerful. This is a parsing skills. It's extraordinary flexible. It's definitely astonishing result. So here's just only want to show you this, not the value instead of the column. So you'd say now ID and person of the column. So sometimes the person of the address, age, connection, expense, first name, income, last name, first name, then address, age, blah blah blah, same. But here's another different kind of array and my number. This is a look like a same visa first one. So it means while using the JSON format, you can store in the same data table with a different object, no problem. So, and then because the JSON format is very, flexible to even easier to retrieve, with such kind of format even in the backend. So, yeah, very interesting. Yeah. Now we also can use casting data type. For example, here's to try to cast this. Try to, for example, here's last login as the last login is time. If it's bigger than 2016, November 1, that also is time step. So if you casting with the data type, then you can ability to compare. So that's it. You can compare casting with the data type, then you can able to do it the kind of filter. Then this one also, that's kind of a range between the 1 month of the time, trying to say this person of the name and last login. So how's that? Let's try to say the result. Let's say. So you will be see this 5 1 to 3 record. So you can able to say this name, then last login time, in 8, 28, 29, but so John is of course 3 different person in the 1 month, the particular time been. So it's very interesting. So very easy to retrieve those things, no problem. Here's also casting with the integer, then you can multiply it, then try to get this such data as well. It should be also fine. And here's they trying to this is a 10 times 50, give this 10 times, and the number is 5, and then my number is because integer, so they just casting to integer. Then now you have a ability to multiply with 10. Now multiply 10, it means 50. So you can able to say this result is here. Even you can what is the result here? Actually is the 5, and this one is it's also integer, so it's no problem. They can do it. Actually it's same things for them, so that's very good. Then here's you also casting with that, then as well as my number type is string, so it means I only want to calculate this. Actually, in the previous one, I have a this is a number, so now I'm just ignoring the ID 6, but only the work with 7. So what we can do is, because my number is string, so they just did such kind of filter. What kind of filter? Let's say that's a kind of filter. No, so it means you can able to that's a string, then you can convert integer, then you can able, now you have a ability to multiply 10, then trying to if this is exists, then as well as the second condition is it's a string, then you only one record is left. Okay, so it's not 2 now, it's becoming 1. Okay, interesting. Now it's another kind of example. Let's quick demonstrate it using the cast. What does here is what does here is they trying to just show you the ID, but if when this not existed the address, then the person's case will be show up. When not exist the person address zip code, then show up the no zip code. So instead of nothing disappear, so it's make this more customizable. Otherwise they show it the zip code. So it means here's in the first time, so there's no zip code instead of nothing that they showed it. But here's column 2's the person's case No, the person address zip codes doesn't. No. Person's address doesn't exist here, but instead of they show it what kind of other columns show it. So that's interesting that there is no any kind of zip code and address, but instead of they have another kind of column. So they also interested to show it. There's no zip code. There is a they has a zip code now, so it means they show it directly. This is also zip code exists, so they showed it as well. No zip code. Address also doesn't exist. It then show instead of show original one. So it is kind of you can customize your format, showing your format. It's a very interesting way. Now this is allied with similar things. They say, okay, mm, I have a J, which is this table. Then I have person and address. If doesn't existed, no address. If not existed person of zip code, then no zip code. Otherwise, just show it the zip code. So that's one. And second is if there's addresses not existed, the address is not existed. So this is a then show it what's inside the column. Otherwise, show it the address. So it is another kind of uh, another kind of format of the previous one. So here it is. No address, but we showed it this one. What's the other column? This one is no zip code, but they have other things existed. No zip code, no zip code. Yeah. So yeah. So it is they do the format for your what's your JSON format. Now another example is they trying to the address person of the address existed, then do it another condition, the address of div code further, I mean div code existed, then they also checked it if there's a zip code existed, then checked it phone number. If anything's null, then zip code exists, but there's telephone number. They give this more precise information. Otherwise, they showed it the zip code. So it means something there is no zip code, and as well as phone doesn't exist. So interesting things. Yeah. Now this is a phone number. If there is no, then no zip code and no phone is any. There's also no doesn't exist. No zip code, no address. This is another kind of format which is more better than previous one. So that's eventually is the last one. So let demonstrate for you, run for you. Then okay. Now no zip code. This one is zip code existed, no problem. This is a no zip code, null in phone. Okay. This one is no address, but others existed. So basically, they totally format with different type. Yeah. So as a conclusion, you know, NoSQL, that's the power of NoSQL. But if you are working with the rational database doesn't have such kind of ability more naturally. They do, but they cannot, retrieve such kind of fundamentally integrate together. Now, NoSQL's more naturally, you're eventually, now naturally, format filtered it, manipulated with your data source more friendly with the client side. Then client side is get more friendly information, which is good for data processing, yeah, data exchanging, as well as the showing the data format. So that's very interesting in my opinion, but I think it's also to you. So that's the reason that's one lectures provide to you. Yeah, that's it. I hope you give you a little bit sense for you.